right, Max.
Jacob.
How you doing?
Fancy dancy car.
Oh yeah, we do what we can with what we got.
So you're a lowrider, eh?
A little bit. All right, so let me get out of here. Let's see how it handles this. So we're headed to Dick's Sporting Goods, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right, as long as we're
Actually,
good.
I just got to buy a thing, and then I got to go to the airport.
Ah, I see.
So
I
if
see.
you wanna, if you gotta go do your thing, do your thing. But if you wanna hang on, you can drive me right after the airport.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
You can even come into Dick's if you want.
That'll be just
Do a bit of shopping.
I'll be all right. Is everything okay back there? The temperature good?
Yeah, this is more than okay. Let me tell you.
All right, that's what's up.
So you're born and raised here?
Yes, indeed. I spent a little time in the military, so
Oh, really?
yeah, about a decade or so, and came
Is that
right
San
back.
Antonio?
Oh no, I was in the Navy.
Navy. Okay.
So I went to Guam, Japan, South Korea. I've been a little bit everywhere.
Well, by the length of your dreads, I could tell you it's been quite a few years since you've been in the military.
Yeah, it's been about 12 years since I've been in.
Those dreads are pretty old.
These are almost 10 years. These are almost 10
That's
years.
awesome, man.
So, got out and decided to come home.
Does that mean you're a vet?
That is correct. That is correct.
Anyone who's in the military and then no longer in the military is a vet. You don't have to have seen action or anything, right?
No, not at all.
Just if you were in the Army or whatever, the military,
Air Force, National Guard.
and then you're not anymore. You're considered a vet.
Yeah, even those that what do they call them? We call them weekend warriors when we were in. They are reservists.
Okay.
Those are still veterans. They serve.
Okay.
So no matter who or where or how much action you've seen, being on a submarine, I didn't get a lot of bullets flying at me. Well, let me just tell you,
in a submarine,
that is
you're a
fair.
big guy.
That
Look
is
at me.
that is a
Imagine
fair
me.
assessment. That is, but
I'm a big guy too. That's why it's from one big guy to another. But
No
that's hard to go
worries.
through to move around in a little submarine. I've been in one and they're so cramped.
10 years ago, I was a little bit smaller. But yeah,
You're on the bike lane?
it looks like we're in some sort of lane, but it's okay. We're good. The car understands what we're doing. It was that gravel I was more concerned with. But yeah, 10 years ago I was a little bit smaller. I had a buddy that was 7 feet tall and literally 330
So
pounds.
he couldn't stand up for the length of his.
He was always like
crouched
this.
over, yeah.
So, but yeah, size really it just affects your clothing allowance, depending on how much you're ripping your clothes on gears and valves and stuff like that.
So how long would you be on the submarine for?
Well, I was on a fast attack submarine, so the schedule was a little unpredictable. I had a year when I was stationed in Hawaii that I was underwater for 300 days out of the year. It was not pleasant.
So is that like how long at one time would you be in the water for?
The longest was 87 days. And then you could go out for a day, 2, come back, day, 2, come back. Typically average 3 weeks, 4 weeks was a typical, average deployment that's not considered a West Pac or East Pac type tour. So we were doing a lot of stuff during that year.
So that's when you were young and single and all that stuff?
Oh, that's when I was married. That's kind of the reason why I got out. I only did 10. That experience, that 1 year of experience was enough for me to be like, I don't want to be divorced. I like my wife.
Yeah.
And it's stressful. I don't know how some of those guys
How the girls too. It's hard
yeah.
for the wife too, right? To be alone with the
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
And
Exactly. So she kind of wanted me to stay. She's Japanese and she was big on the security that the military provided. But you know, she kind of saw that we might not make it if I stayed in.
So you met her in Japan?
Oh yes, that was the beauty. When I wasn't on the boat, I got to spend 3 years on shore duty in Yokosuka. So I was able to go home every night. You know, it was a very standard office job, basically, when I wasn't on the boat.
So how did you meet her?
It was my first week there, to be honest. And I was excited, young 25-year-old, basically. And I had picked up a lot of, what was it? Rosetta Stone had these discs that levels 1, 2, and 3 was trying to blaze through them once I knew I had my orders to Japan. So I walked up to her in the club speaking this very broken Japanese. And she goes, I speak English.
Seriously? How did she learn English?
Oh, she taught herself. She said she learned English and like they had it for school, but she couldn't pick it up when the teacher was trying to teach it. So she learned from essentially TV, music, and you know, she had a few English-speaking boyfriends before me too. So
wow. So she likes people not from Japan, kind of thing.
That's what her friends would say. Yeah, she was. They're like, "Why won't you date a nice Japanese dude?" She's like, "I don't like Japanese dudes."
That's funny.
So once she said she spoke English, we were able to communicate a lot better than some of the other women I was trying to talk to, and we just hit it off. It was pretty awesome.
So this is interesting. I'm okay. So now, I'm from Canada.
Oh,
and,
welcome.
I have some friends who used to work at Bridgestone. You know, that makes the tires. And it's owned by the Japanese. And I think he was telling me that some Japanese people would come with their wives and their families, and they would live, and it's in a small village. But the Japanese women are very like, you could say like, you know, the husband would come home and then she's like, okay, tell me what you need. Do you need a bath? Do you need to like just rest for a while? You know, how are you feeling? What is it that you need? And then, you know, he is to decide, and you know, every day beautiful lunch ready made for him and stuff like that. So
they call that the traditional housewife, essentially.
Yeah.
And my wife is like, when I met her, I thought she was a city girl, very progressive, and turns out she's a country girl with extremely high housewife values.
Traditional values?
Very much so, and I did not expect that once we started, as the months started to carry on.
Yeah.
Some of her friends, I'm just so glad I gravitated toward her and not her friends, because that would have proven to be more problematic. They weren't nearly as, not only was she very high in those traditional values, she was quite skilled. She loved to work and do the housework. And when I brought her over here to Houston, because we were I just left the military, I had a nice little nest egg, and I was gonna go to school, and she's like, I'm gonna try to do nails over here. And I thought it was going to be a hobby. And it turned out that it was more than a hobby. She was an extremely talented nail artist. When the Astros went to the World Series, one of the newscasters came and got her nails done, like painted Astros type nails, and she was on TV. I was like, you're on TV? She's like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. And I was like, I didn't know you had this skill. We would have planned accordingly had I, you know, and she's been quite successful. So I've kind of adopted the role of, I do finance. Luckily, when I got out, I found Tesla pretty quickly, and my money kind of went through the roof. And so I'm ready to move to Japan whenever she is, but she's had so much success here, she kind of likes it. So I'm just biding my time, continuing to invest, and we're just waiting. I'm just waiting. I can't wait to retire over there, basically. So I'm just waiting on her. But I didn't know she was that skilled and talented. So I've kind of adopted those similar traditions because I've got the time. When she goes to work, I'll make her like breakfast in the morning and prepare her lunch. This, and then I'll go and, you know, drive for Uber or do whatever I'm gonna do that day, play cards or whatever. But our dynamic has shifted, and she works super hard and she's super talented. I just did not expect that.
Children?
0. And I think that's kind of why our lifestyle is pretty tame.
Chill, yeah.
Pretty tame. So, and I think she had some hormonal issues. She couldn't just, you know, it seemed like she was fighting, her body was fighting when we had the miscarriage, she kind of like didn't want to try anymore. So I never forced it. I never forced it. It would be nice, but I kind of like my lifestyle too. And yeah, so I'm not complaining.
How old are you, Jacob?
I am 41. She's 45. About to be 45.
So I think
the window's pretty much
closed. Children are probably not in your picture.
Yeah, it's pretty much closed.
You know what? You're gonna live a good life, you know?
I love my lifestyle. I live vicariously through my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay. If we wanted to adopt, that's what we would do when she's ready. We just go back to Japan and maybe adopt a kid, or, you know, do something of that nature. They don't need to be mine, but her Japanese culture, she would like children, you know, that is hers. And I kind of understand that.
I get that.
Lineage and
I 100% get
family tree and all that stuff.
But you know, that's what you think now, but then let's say you spend a week with a little kid who's really cute, just beautiful, and it just attaches to you, you know, I bet you she'd change her mind.
Of course, we have a dog.
It's just right now you haven't met the kid yet. You know, once the kid is adorable and latches onto you, everything changes. It's so instinctive to be protective.
Yeah. We have the dog. She brought home a runaway. Instead of a child, she brought me a dog. And I don't hate animals, but I'm not one to raise a pet.
Yeah.
And since she works most of the day, I'm the one raising the pet most of the time. And I would imagine it would be she may have some reservations about adoption of a child, but the same way I glommed onto the I call him the rodent, but you know, is there traffic still? We're gonna say that's traffic. She would, you know, I don't see her as the personality type to treat it like a redheaded stepchild, so to speak. Sure. She's too kind for that, but she's made her concerns and voiced her opinion on the matter, but I'm gonna just one day bring one home like she did me and see how she reacts.
Be careful. You're walking very tight.
Yeah, I know. I'm just playing. We would go in on it together.
I know.
Look what I brought home.
Yeah. Actually, there's a gentleman from my work who went to way before the Ukraine war. Mm-hmm. I think they went to adopt a child because they couldn't have kids.
Right.
And he goes to the Ukraine, comes back with 3.
Wow.
Brother, sister, and sister is like, no, we can't separate them. We'll just take them all.
That's fair.
Can you imagine? Insta-Family? Can you imagine? I think it was like 2, 4, and 6 or something like that.
You do what you gotta do.
And then you just walk back and you've got a house full of kids. Like,
lifestyle
from 0 to 3. Like,
yeah.
There's no
school for one.
Really, yeah.
Preschool for another.
Diapers on the last one. Yeah, it's like, jeez.
You're in the mix.
Yeah.
0 to 60.
0 to 60, exactly.
I don't know. Well, we'll plan it by ear. I imagine, because when we go to the vet, there's a poster on the wall and it says, "You'll never know a love like a love when you have a pet." And I'm sitting there thinking about it and looking down at the dog and looking at the poster, and I'm like, God dang it, that thing's right. And so I know there's a void not having a child, and she's a woman. She wants to go through childbirth. She wasn't ever one to shy away from pain. She would have loved to have that experience, but I don't want it to kill her either. So I'm kind of like, whatever she's willing to do. We thought about in vitro and then how much money we'd have to spend for the chance to have a kid and put her through all that pain. It just didn't sit right with me. And I let her know, I was like, that doesn't sit right with me. Spending the money to put you through pain for a maybe.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it.
That's true.
So, but you know, appreciate you listening. Maybe I needed that kind of, let's do some reverse therapy. What you got going on today? What time's your flight?
Yeah, getting deep, eh?
Yeah, deep. Sometimes I just need to chat about it.
No, I'm totally. I appreciate that you're able to share and be a bit vulnerable. That's awesome.
Open book, man. Open book.
Yeah, I'm from Canada. Montreal. That's where I'm headed.
Montreal. Is that more east?
Montreal is on the east side. Yes,
right.
Yes, that's correct.
When I was in Seattle, we used to go to Vancouver.
Yeah,
Victoria.
that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
My mom is there.
That's awesome.
So that's where I grew up, and my mom and dad are there. But I live in Montreal. I got divorced 2 years ago. That's my big news.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Oh, that's okay. I went through a really toughest time in my life, and now I was married for almost 20 years. So
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I didn't really date online or anything like that. So the last 6 months or so, I've been trying to date.
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest fears.
It's terrible.
Because I got married right when MySpace was going.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what the dating scene looks like. Has it been scary?
Terrible. It's terrible. And you got to be persistent, and you got to be. I mean, I'm definitely not a pro. If anything, I'm still an amateur. I did meet a girl. I met a few, and like there was no fit. You're just like, this is terrible. I can't do this.
Wow.
So I did meet someone, and it seems to be going pretty good. She's a good listener, and yeah. So I guess I'm kind of finding my feet again, a little bit, slowly. She wants to. I'm still even barely. I'm barely ready. I'm not even ready to say the word girlfriend yet. I'm just companion. For now, for me, I'm at companion.
I like that word. If I ever get divorced, I might not ever graduate past companion.
That's exactly it. So do you speak Japanese now?
Like I said, I tried, and
you had to practice.
When she said I speak English, I think I lost half of what I learned from Rosetta Stone. So, and I was like, oh, thank God. And her English has grown. Not to just because she works here. All of her clients are like, what does your husband do? Like, her English is so good, and I guess she mimics my mannerisms and my dialect. They're like, you got a Southern husband, don't you? You have a black husband, don't you? So,
how would they know that you would be black?
Well, I think it's because of my family. I like to think that I don't have too much of a Southern twang or but it's they kind of have a suspicion.
By her accent,
yes,
they're able to tell, but I don't hear much of an accent on you.
Not from me, right? So
it's from your family.
Exactly. She spends a lot of time with them, and it kind of wears on. And so some people don't, they just know that she has
a Japanese girl. That's good.
But she's still ESL, like English as a second language. So, but they can tell it's not as bad as her coworkers for sure.
Yeah.
And there's just certain mannerisms and colloquialisms that she expresses that kind of gives her away.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's she tries. Like I'm an English major, so whenever I try to speak another language and I don't have the same proficiency, it's just like I know the English language pretty decently. I can college debater. I can mince words with the best of them.
Yeah.
And so when I go to being a fourth grader, when it comes to another language, it is frustrating. I can't express myself the way I want to.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And she's like, that's the same for me. And I was like, well, you don't have the hang up like I do. She's like, she rolls her eyes at me quite often. So, but her English has gotten, she's super proficient.
It's great.
No, it's not great for me because if we did have kids, I would be forced to learn Japanese because I would force her to teach them.
Yeah.
And to keep me from being out of the loop, I would have to learn with them. But without that, there's not a whole lot of necessity for me to learn Japanese. I do go back like every other year, and her family's not learning English. That's not in their wheelhouse.
So you've never had a chat with her dad or her mom or brothers or sisters?
I do. Like I said, I'm like a third or fourth grader. Like I understand a lot more than I can communicate.
Okay.
So, and plus we got technology now. I can go to ChatGPT and it does the back and forth for us.
Sure.
Probably handicapping me even further from learning, but I get by. I can get by if I were to bring my family, I wouldn't need her to escort us everywhere. I think we could get by with my understanding. It'd be better if she came. I can get by. Now, what brought you here to the great state of Texas?
Well, Valero has a refinery in Quebec.
Oh, wow.
In the east. So that's one of our main clients. So I'm an engineer.
Sounds great.
So they do work at that. We do work at that refinery. We wanted to meet with the big shops, the leaders of that refinery, and they're all in San Antonio. So we flew to San Antonio. We met with them, went for lunch with them. We said, "Oh, this is what we're doing at your refinery, and please give us more work." And we're good partners. We're straight shooters. Just not trying to get a job. Just trying to build a relationship.
Understood. A little networking.
And then there was a conference in Houston, so we said we kind of timed it so that we could do both at the same time. And so the last 2 days I've been at the conference, and now it's time to go back.
All right.
The food's been really great. We had Creole food yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And Tex-Mex the day before. Houston, I have nothing. Actually, Texas, I went last year too for the same thing, and I keep bringing the message back home. I'm just saying, Texas is awesome. There's nothing. It's awesome. It's an awesome place. The people are so kind and friendly, and I have nothing bad to say.
That's awesome. I'm glad your experiences have been awesome.
Yeah.
Try to come back when it's not for business, though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I would. That's what I mean. I would definitely come here and explore as a tourist, 100%. 100%. I would love to see some blues. I'd love to see some music.
Austin's music scene is crazy.
There's a lot to see here. I think I wouldn't go in June, July. Maybe I'd go April, May kind of thing, where it's not so hot. I'm
That's the one complaint that we might have. The humidity. Why is it like a wet blanket?
Crazy, eh?
That's the storm clouds that have been passing through, just keeping us covered. It has lowered the temperature a bit, but the humidity has also increased tenfold. So
Stevie Ray Vaughan is from here. ZZ Top. My son's playing a lot of that type of music now, so it's making me think a lot about, but he's 17, and there's not much to do when you're 17. So I said, well, when he's 21, maybe I'll take him here, because that's his dream. So we'll see some good music and have a good time.
That's what's up. 17, I remember that age. Oh man, the world is at your fingertips.
It's true. You're right. You're absolutely right. So I moved. I told you I grew up in Vancouver. So I moved to Montreal because I wanted to learn to speak French. So I was 30 years old. I just had high school French, like just one class here and there. Maybe like when you guys get in Spanish.
I took high school French actually. I I didn't do Spanish because there was this French girl that was in our grade.
After, yeah.
And so I took French. Yeah.
So
I know a little
French in the last 20 years. I've learned. I was an old dog teaching an old dog. It took me an enormous amount of effort to learn a language, and so now I work in a French environment, and like what you were saying before about, you know, when you feel really confident in one language and then that's taken away. For me, it's the speaking is not too bad. I'm good. I understand and I can speak it. I'm fine. It's the written French. Like writing business. I can get really effective, good letter. I feel like I'm a good writer in English. So to not be able to have, it's like my kryptonite. Like it took all my power away. Now I just sound like an idiot in French when I write, because it's another, writing and speaking are different in French. They're like two different. It's
two different skill sets. Yeah. Have you tried using the artificial intelligence to help?
I use it all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, in a way, it makes me even more dumb, because
exactly.
I used to be able to like try to figure out like, okay, how does this accord? Try to correct my grammar. Now I'm just lazy. I just don't have time for that. I just okay, boop, change it, and then I review it, and I'm like, yeah, I guess he's right. I guess it's right, and then I just send it off.
I got a funny little story. When ChatGPT was blowing up, and I was testing it, I told ChatGPT to write me a love poem
in Japanese
to my wife in Japanese.
Okay.
She cried, and I had no idea.
It was you.
Yeah, she thought it was.
You didn't know the translation?
I had no idea. I just told it to write a love poem to my wife with these parameters. I didn't know what it was saying or why it was saying it.
Oh my God.
And she, like, I printed it out and I was like, here you go. And she read it and cried. And I go, oh my God, I think I need to tell her.
Yeah.
I need to tell her that I did not do that.
Invest in ChatGPT. That was like the proof that it works.
That's when I was like, I'm sold. And she was like, oh my God. She's like, it sounded like you. And I was like, I don't know how. It doesn't know me.
That's insane.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome.
What these things are going to be able to do for us in the future when it comes to the language barrier, it's kind of scary good.
It's true. It's true. And I listened to Lex Friedman, and what he's doing now is he had an interview with the president of India, and basically you only need apparently like 15 seconds or 20 seconds of someone's voice to copy their voice. So he did the interview, and the guy was speaking in Hindi, but through AI, he was able to, it's like an instant translation with his voice. So you could do that in Japanese. You could talk to her dad, and you'll be speaking in Japanese with your voice and in your intonation. Like you see, when I'm talking to you, my voice goes up, down, there's like emotions, there's like different speed up, slow down. It'll do all that.
So scary.
It's incredible, eh?
Loving it. We're obviously living in incredibly interesting times.
True.
Like any generation or era can say that, but they don't have the rate of technology, just pure innovation. After the internet, everything kind of got sped up. Every year was like 5 years when it came to technology. Where I'm waiting for 2042 is when I say our life expectancy will expand to, like, you'll have good years when you're 80 and 90, like good years. I don't know, I'm just rambling now because I'm so excited about the future and what it holds.
The conference was talking a bit about that, and as a Canadian, it was listening to the Americans talk, and they were like, we absolutely have to have AI dominance. We have to be the leaders. Everything goes to AI. We have to build
every sector. We
have to build so many servers. 10% of all power demand in the US is going to go to AI. So I think that's an understatement. We need gas-fired power plants to generate electricity. We need to build our dams. We need to increase
all
capacity,
forms of energy.
Input. You need to feed the electricity. That's the beast that you're gonna feed, right? That's to create all this AI, right? So interesting.
Yeah, all forms of energy are needed until they're not. And
Gonna be nuclear powered AI machines. That's
got
Can
to.
you imagine? Oh
Not yet. Not yet anyway, but all right, it's asking me to take this ride, but
take it.
I have to accept it because my cancel rate is already too high.
But you know what you can do? You could just drop me off at the mall. I can walk there. I don't like, this is a mall right here, right?
Yeah,
you don't
it's
have to
gonna
bring me all the way up there.
No, it's gonna get you to the Dick's Sporting Goods for sure. But I kind of wanted to take you to the airport as well.
Oh no, that's good. Can I call an Uber from there?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Ubers work around here too.
Mm-hmm. Probably more so because it's closer to the airport.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to continue the conversation. But yeah. Actually,
so
that'll probably be my last one. No, God, no. Like I said, I got the pup at home, and I'm thinking about when I gotta go home to feed him.
But you got another ride.
Yeah, I'll take this ride and probably be done for the day. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I gotta get back to Katy, and that's like 30,
That's your
40.
dog, Katie?
No, Katy is the area in which I live.
Katy, okay.
It's in the greater Houston area.
Okay.
My dog's Chewbacca. Yeah. When we found him, he looked like
a hairy,
he looked like a dirty Wookiee.
Dog.
Yeah, he looked like a dirty Wookiee, and I was
That's funny.
that's Chewbacca, and he's a chewer. Like he just chews.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Like,
it makes sense.
Crazy. We got the name pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
You call him Chewy?
Oh yeah, he's a Chewy for short. But I got about an hour before he starts wondering where his food's at. So I'll do this next ride and call it a night. I can't do full time, partly because my circadian rhythm won't allow me to do the night shift. And I'm just here testing out Tesla software. Most of my money is tied up in TSLA. So
really?
Oh yeah.
So has your feelings changed? And I'm not trying to get political with you, but has your feelings changed at all with regards to what's happened in the White House recently with
Elon and Trump?
This is a beautiful vehicle. This is a beautiful piece of engineering. I give you this 1,000,000%. But our president has a Tesla, and he says I don't feel good about it anymore. Because he's so closely tied to the branding. That's too bad. They shouldn't have done that.
I'm a Democrat, so I definitely don't appreciate half of the things that he tweets on X when it comes to the political discourse, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm a Democrat, but there are some things that when he talks about spending, like I'm a big fan of Doge. I think there should be some tightening of the belt, right? But there's a way to go about it. Scalpel versus chainsaw. Yeah. I'd prefer scalpel.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with everything Elon Musk talks about politically, for sure. However, I've used these cars for 5 years now. It's made me a considerable amount of money when I got out of the military. I think Elon Musk is a genius, a billionaire that could be on an island somewhere, not caring what any human does.
True.
Yet he's got Neuralink, he's got SpaceX, he's got Tesla.
You're right.
It's hard to, I can't separate the fact that I don't like some of these things that he is doing, but I can't just completely ignore the good that he is doing as well.
True.
And I would never. This whole time I haven't been driving the car.
Are you joking?
No, the car's been driving the whole time.
Oh my God.
The entire time. I haven't touched any of the controls.
You could be going for a nap.
Eventually I want to be able to send this out and do rides without me even in the seat, and that's what the plan is. Wow. So I can kind of stomach what's going on with him in the White House and their political agenda. I can stomach it because I served in the military. I served under Obama. And, my commander-in-chief is my commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have Elon in his pocket than not, because I think Elon genuinely wants to better humanity, or he could just be on an island somewhere with all of the money he's amassed.
He would need to, and his children's great-great-great-grandchildren could live totally fine.
the entire legacy of Musk would not have to worry about anything.
True.
Between him and his brother, and like, this is insane how much money these guys have. But yet well, at least Elon is kind of like, his drive is admirable. Now again, I'm a Democrat and I do not like what I've seen or heard politically for the most part. But my wife, she's in the Model X. She's in the safest thing known to man, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So this is the first time I've actually been driving since you've been in the car.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, and I'm not a great driver, and as I get older, I will only get worse.